Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you are a new subscriber, you are highly welcome, and if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much. I hope you get value for everything you learn here in my channel. So if you are interested in learning how to make this beautiful kimono blazer jacket, please stay tuned and let's get started. So I've ruled my pattern paper already and we'll be starting with the back pattern. So I'll divide my shoulder measurement by 2 and input, and I'll also add ½ inch to it for the sewing allowance. From the point, I'll come down by 1 inch as my shoulder slope. For the neck width, I'll make use of 3 inches and I'll connect the shoulder slope into the neck width like so. For the neck depth, I'll come down by ½ inch because we're making a cloth with collar, so it has to be ½ inch. Then I'll connect like so. Then I'll divide my bust into 6 inches. I'll divide by 6 and add 1.5 inches to it to get my armhole length. To get a perfect straight line, I'll measure everything around the shoulder area and input it at that point, and I'll connect so together. That way it will make your armhole length to be straight. And after that, from the starting line, I will input the length of the kimono. So whatever the length of your kimono that you want it to be, you will input it. So this is just me trying to input and connect everything together. Then I will mark my half length, and at that point I'll measure everything I have around this armhole length area and I will input it at my half length. So in this video I added ½ inch to it, but I did not like it. I would have just advised that you just rule your armhole length straight down, because it was giving my own this A-line effect, but you can still do what I did if you wish. So after that, that's just all we need for the back pattern. I will cut everything out like so. So you don't need an armhole curve or anything. You don't need the body measurement also. Now to the front pattern. This is my starting line, and from there I am going to come down by 6 inches. We are going to be drafting the collar at the front pattern, so you need to create allowance for that to avoid shortage. Then at this side also, I will come in by 3 inches. All this to just create enough room for the collar and the button strap that we are going to be drafting. Then after that, I am going to mark the length of my kimono from the starting line we measured, the new one we measured, and I'll connect everything like so, as you can see. So now from this our starting line, I'll measure my neck width, which is 3 inches, then the shoulder measurement divide by 2, and I also add ½ inch for sewing allowance. From that point, I'll come in by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and I'll connect it into the neck width like so. So after that, for your neck depth for the front, you make use of 3 inches. 3 inches is very okay because it is a jacket and you don't want the neckline to sag. So whatever the armhole length you calculated for the back, you make use of it at the front. So to get a perfect line, you measure all your shoulder measurements and you input it again, and like so you will connect it. So as I've said earlier, if I were you, I would have advised that you just rule this line straight down. Though I didn't really straight down, I added ½ inch to what I got at this armhole area. Though it was nice, but it was just giving this slightly A-shape effect. So I would have just advised that you just really straight down. You notice that it was giving this A-shape effect. So just really straight down. So after that, I'll come out at this side by 1 inch for our button strap, because you need an extension for the button so that they can lap on themselves. So I'll roll it up like so, and I'm just labeling it so you can know that it's for a button effect. Then you measure your half length and you rule it out. That's your waistline. The reason why we need it is so that we can know where the break point of the collar will start from. That place that the collar will look like it is folding. So from there I came up by 1 inch. You can do 2 inches, but 1 inch is fine. So after that, at this button area, I came out again by 1 inch because we need to extend our collar to get that collar effect. Then using my curve ruler, I'll use it to connect it back into this button strap point like so. If you have any question, do not hesitate to ask. Then after that, I'm going to measure all I have at the neckline of the back pattern like so. Then using my tape rule, I'll extend it. You will notice that I was not making my tape rule to be straight, so just follow that slant. There's a slant this your neckline will give you as a guideline, so just follow it like so. Then using your ruler, you connect it out like this. So we're not going to make use of this line. So from this point now, you come out by ½ inch, then you connect it. This way it will help the collar to sit well in the neckline. And after that, you will measure your collar. So I made use of 3.5 inches. So you can use 3 inches or 3.5, but I made use of 3.5 inches. Then after you've measured that, at this point you come up by ½ inch, and using your ruler you connect it back into this collar like so for the notch collar effect. And using your curve ruler like this, look at the way I'm placing it, you connect it into the collar. So right now our collar is ready and our front pattern is also ready. All we need to do now is to cut everything out. So please study the lines, look at the way I'm cutting it, and remember to label them. Your center front, your side front, then the back also, label it. So after doing that, you have to make an arrow so that you'll be able to know where the collar will meet, because we are going to be notching that on our fabric. Then after that, you will cut every other part out like so. So now we are going to transfer it to our fabric. So here's the back pattern. I have added ½ inch sewing allowance to the shoulder, the neckline, but at the center back, because my fabric was not enough, I had to cut it separately and I added ½ inch sewing allowance to be able to join it. But if you have enough fabric, make sure it is on fold. At the hem line area, I added 1 inch for the hem, but at the side I did not add any allowance because my fabric is very stretchy. But if yours is not stretchy, just add ½ inch sewing allowance to it. So here's the front pattern. Also, I added ½ inch to the shoulder, the neckline, the collar area, and 1 inch at the hem. But at the side, I did not add. If you have enough, if your fabric is not stretchy, add ½ inch. So I separated the lining from the main fabric because the length shouldn't be the same. So at the length of my lining, I removed 0.75 from it, like so. So here is the collar. I cut it on fold for lining and main fabric, and added ½ inch sewing allowance round. So you remember this arrow I told you about. Now you are going to notch it on your collar. Please remember to notch it, as you can see. So now this fabric I cut out 20.5 inches, and for the width 4 inch. So I cut out 4 pieces of this because we are going to be needing it for the side of the jacket. So now I'm going to go and iron an interface to the fabric. So that's what I'm just trying to explain. You can choose to iron it on all the fabric, or you should just do like half of the fabric, though I did half of the fabric here because I didn't have enough interface. Make sure you iron both on the lining and the main fabric. Same thing with the collar, every of the material you're working with. So now let's start sewing. I have joined the back at the center, the part I told you that required joining, and I've ironed it out. So now I'll place my front fabric, the front pattern, I'll place it on the back pattern and join it at the shoulder. This is it. I've joined it and I've ironed it. So remember, as I'm doing the same thing on the main fabric, I'm also doing the same thing on the lining, which means I have joined the lining also off camera. So now the collar, I will notch it at the center like so, because we are going to be fixing the main fabric, the collar used for the main fabric, to the main fabric. So this is the main fabric I'm working with, not the lining. So I'll pin everything like so. So remember that point I told you to notch. You should also notch it on your front material. That point I told you that there's an arrow that you need to notch. So that's where you will stop at for this collar. It's not everything you are joining at the collar. The notch, when they meet each other, the moment you are pinning and you notice that the notch has met themselves, that's where you will stop, because that's where the collar break will start from. The notch collar effect will start from. So that's where I just stopped at this point, as you can see. So now you are going to take it to your sewing machine and you will join it with ½ inch sewing allowance that you added earlier. So this is me. I've joined them. I notched it so that it can be well relaxed, and I gave it a good press also. So you can see how neat and beautiful it is and how it blends with the neckline. So if you draft your pattern well and you sew well, you should get something like this. So I'll also bring the second collar for the lining. I will notch it at the center after like so, and I'll try to place it on this first collar and I'll start pinning. Remember those notch I told you as a guideline. Please do not sew beyond the notch. If you sew beyond the notch, you will make mistakes. So you join it on this upper part, but don't join the down part. So here it is. I have joined it, and this is me trying to trim off some part of the sewing allowance so that it can be relaxed by the time I turn it over. So I'll trim it off, and I'll also notch it a little so that those curvy parts can easily spread when I'm turning it. So this is me trying to turn it to the other side, like so. Please, when you are trying to use your scissors to push this part out, be careful so it will not tear the fabric. So try to notch any parts that you feel will be too bulky when you turn the material. So this is me trying to take my time to turn it and do all the necessary things. After that, I'm going to give it a very good press. Now, after I've ironed it, this is my lining that I have also worked on behind the seam, and I'll just try to pin everything together. So make sure that you use your sewing lines as a guideline to pin them together, and open your seam, open the seam, and all those seams, open it so it can be relaxed at each point. So I'll just try to pin it. I'm going to be working with the neckline first. It's the neckline area I am pinning first. So just follow the way I am pinning it. If you don't understand, please ask in the comment section. I will answer you. But make sure you watch this video well. Sometimes you need to watch a video like 2 or 3 times to be able to understand everything that was explained. And please do not fast forward so you can understand better. And also, if you have gotten to this stage, please do not forget to like my video, comment, and also subscribe and share to your loved ones so they can benefit from this tutorial. So this is me trying to pin the necklines together. It is not something you have to rush to do. You have to take your time to do this part, and you arrange it well. So you can see that I'm taking my time. I chose not to cut off all these parts in the video, so you can see that we also take our time to do things. If you make any mistake, try to lose it and start again. So after you've pinned everything well, that you feel you've pinned the neckline, the lining to the main fabric at the neckline area, and you've arranged the collar well, like the way I am doing, you are going to go and sew it with 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So this is just me trying to pin it, and now I'll go and sew it with 1/2 inch sewing allowance. I have joined it and I've given it a very good press. You can see how neat it is. So this is what the inside looks like. Remember to notch. After I finish sewing it, I had to notch it again. I had to give it notch, but make sure it is neat. And I ironed everything. I gave it a very good press. So that is it, as you can see. We are almost getting done with this tie. So now you are going to go and join it at the hem line, like so. So you will turn it, because this is an inseam we are doing, so you have to turn it and join it with 1/2 inch sewing allowance. You place the main fabric together with the lining, like so. You turn it right side facing right side, and you will join it with 1/2 inch. So here it is. I have done that and I've given it a good press. As you can see, it is very neat. So yours too should be neat like this, or even neater than this. Now the next thing we are going to work on is on the rope. So we have to mark the point where the rope will be at the side of the clothes. So I'll measure the half length and I'll come up by 1 inch. So when you measure your half length, you can come up by 1 inch or make use of the half length exactly. So on that point, I have to notch it so it can serve as a guide. So now I've notched it, and I also do the same thing at this other side. You have to notch the point where your half length is, or you should come up by 1 inch from the half length. So I'll set it aside and bring the strap I cut earlier. So you bring your strap and you join it. You join this down part with 1/2 inch, but you will not join it at the upper part. So I have sewed it and I turned it out like so. So now that part that looks like it was not turned at the strap, that's where you dip inside so it will fall inside to not be showing. And using the guideline, that part that you notch as a guideline, you will place it there and you use your pin to pin it together like so. So now I'll also do the same thing for this second side. Remember, it is four rope we're making use of, 4 straps we're making use of. So you also try to pin it. Remember, this kimono is an inseam sewing, so you want your work to be very neat. So I'll also pin it like so. Now I'll repeat the same process for this other side of the clothes. So I've pinned it, as you can see. Now we have to join our collar area, the center front. We have to close that part. So you turn it you turn it inside like this and arrange your fabric well. Remember that the lining will be shorter than the main fabric so it can lap well, and you go and join it with 1/2 inch. So I've joined it with 1/2 inch, as you can see, and this is me notching the tip so that it will not be too bulky there. I've done the same thing at this second collar also, though I've not ironed it yet. So now we are going to be finishing up the side also. So remember that we pinned the straps to the side of the fabric. So now we are going to unpin them, and instead of pinning to both clothes, we'll just pin to one part of the cloth, so it will be easy for us to open, because we need to finish off this cloth from the inside, because it's an inseam sewing, and you will not want this strap to be disturbing you when you are turning your clothes. So I'll unpin it, still using that notch as a guideline. I'll pin to one side of the cloth and leave the other side open. So that other side, now I'll just open it out like this, and I'll wrap all the clothes, like I will tuck all the clothes inside, so it will help me to get the sewing like right side facing right side. So I'll just tuck everything, like I'll tuck everything inside like this, and I will also dip the strap inside. It should fall inside, because if you fall outside here, it will not be able to show, like it will fall into the wrong side. So you tuck everything inside like this, and remember to arrange the shoulder together with the shoulder. And remember that your main fabric is smaller than the lining, and now you go and sew it half inch. I've sewn it already, but I left like 5 inch opening down, so it will be easy for me to be able to bring out all the clothes I tucked in. But before I brought it out, I also notched those pointy parts, so it will be relaxed after I've ironed it. So you have to be patient with this bringing out. It's not hard at all, but you don't want to drag your fabric too much, especially if you are working with a stretchy fabric like the one I'm working with. So after I've brought it out, you can see the rope came outside and everything is perfect. So this is me trying to arrange it so you can see the side very well. As you can see, this is the part I left, the opening I left. So now you repeat all the same process with this second side. First, remove your strap and arrange it well and sew it from inside. So now I'll go and close the opening that I left to use in doing it. So this is it. I closed it and I gave it a very good press. So now you can leave your rope like this to be tied when you wear it, or you should use this I think it is like a buckle for bags, though I got a smaller one. I plan to get a bigger one later, so I just want to use this one to explain. You put one part of your strap inside like this, and you drag it to your satisfied point, so I will advise you to drag it very well. Then you also put this second one also like this. After you've put it, you drag it out also. So you can choose to leave it like this, but I will prefer closing it with, you go and stitch it down to close it so it can be well secured. So you do the same thing to the other side. Then after that, you fix your button hole and your button at the point where your collar starts from. I hope you learned something new from this video, and I hope you recreate yours too. Thanks for watching my video, and see you in my next one. Till then, keep winning.